This is Faith Family Cars Podcast. I'm Jerry.
I'm Zach.
Hit the key.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. As Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1.
Hey guys, welcome back to Faith Family Cars Podcast. We are glad that you joined back in. So if you'll notice, check out our cool LED logo sign from 306 3D printing. That thing is killer. It looks so cool.
It does look cool. And it hides our mic, so now our ugly mic's not in the way.
Yeah.
We got a nice little sign there.
So yeah, reach out to 306 3D printing if you're interested in getting one of those. You can find him on Instagram and send him a message and he will get you hooked up with one. They are really cool, quality made. They got a nice little toggle switch on the side and adapter plug in there so you can plug it up and keep it lit up. Pretty awesome. And I'm thinking that I might have to order another one, but we'll see. So guys, we're at the end of the year, and if you're watching this on time, it's New Year's Eve. So happy New Year's. Tomorrow is starting 2025, and we've been kind of thinking about how this year's went. And our podcast started September 3rd. We released 3 episodes on the first day.
One of which is still one of our biggest episodes we've got. I think it's our 3rd or 4th biggest episode.
I think it is. Yeah.
So they got like 130 or 135, something like that.
And that's the Shop Truck Gathering episode.
Yeah.
And that one just continues to rise. I think people are going back and listening to that one.
Yeah.
You know, new subscribers. So yeah, that was actually one of my most fun videos.
I didn't get to be involved with that one. So
yeah, I'm sorry that you couldn't. You actually. His mom came along with me and she did all the video and she did a great job. You know, first time ever doing it. We were new to this. You know, it was our first time doing anything like that, and she did a great job and it went really well. And I really wished you could have been there for it. But
yeah, I was too busy working on a Mustang that didn't make the deadline. So.
Yeah. Well, so 2024 is our first 3 months and almost 4 months of doing the podcast. And we are slowly gaining traction, and
I think we're getting somewhere now.
Yeah,
I really do.
Starting to pick up. So we have an episode that recently just hit our top spot for most views on YouTube.
Yeah, I got a couple milestones out of that one.
Yeah,
it's most views. We surpassed 200 views on one video.
Yeah.
I think last time I checked, it was sitting at 212.
212 views, and we could not be more excited about that.
Yeah, that is the my grandpa's episode, Mike Richards' episode.
Yes.
From Rebel to Redeemed.
Yes, sir. And that was so awesome to do.
Oh yeah.
And Mike is such a humble man, and he's been through a lot, and he just keeps working for the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, and
he'll never stop.
No. And so it was such an honor for us to do that podcast.
Mm-hmm. I love hearing his testimony. I've heard it 100 times, but I would listen to it 100 times over. It's great.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And, there are people that I know who have reached out to me who have said they hadn't listened to any of our podcasts. I mean, we've got even some family members that have never listened to us, and they listened to that one. And so
how could you not, though? I mean, it's such a good episode.
It is a good episode. So if you haven't watched that episode yet, go and find it on YouTube or wherever you like to listen to it at, and pull up episode 20 and give it a listen. You will be happy that you did.
Yeah, definitely.
I think everybody can get something out of that episode.
Oh yeah.
So that's been something great that's happened in 2024.
Yeah, we are now up to 129 subscribers.
Well, that's great too. So all you guys and girls who listened, 212 of you who have listened to episode 20, go subscribe. Get us up over that 200 mark.
There's almost 100 of you that aren't subscribed.
Yes. Yes.
So you need to subscribe.
So, the more you subscribe, the more people that subscribe, the more it helps to get the word out. And that's what this is all about.
Yep.
So, helping us to spread the gospel. So, just all you got to do is click that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're on Spotify or you're on iTunes, then go and follow our channel on there. Okay? And that just helps, like I said, it helps with the algorithm and helps keep pushing this forward so that we can spread the word more. So we've had that milestone just recently as of basically today.
Yeah.
We're hitting that 212 mark. I think it went over 200 this past weekend.
It went over 200. It was about 2 days ago.
Yeah,
1 or 2 days ago.
So I've been really excited about
watching it pretty
that.
consistently. I've been checking it every so often throughout the day.
So that's our highest viewed episode so far, highest listened to episode.
And honestly, we've had a ton of amazing guests, but that is my favorite episode.
Yeah.
I guess I'm biased because it is my grandpa.
Well, so if you're not looking at his episode,
and
you're thinking about all the podcasts, so we've got 21 podcasts out now. This makes 22.
Yep.
So what is your favorite podcast that we did this year?
Well, I will say I did love the podcast with my wife because we pretty much just had a conversation.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like we were recording a podcast. We were just talking about stories and stuff that we went through together, and that was enjoyable, reminiscing on all the old times. But I think that...
You say old times like you're 40, 50 years old.
Well, 5 years ago was a long time ago. I mean, you got to think there's a lot that went down because that was all during COVID and everything. There was a lot that went on during
when you get my age, 5 years is just
I know, but you got to let me cherish this milestone here.
Okay.
We're almost at 5 years. So, but other than that episode, because that one was very recent, I think that my favorite episodes, even though there are least viewed ones, and nobody seems to like them except for like one person that I've talked to, and he tells me, he's like, oh yeah, I love those episodes, they helped me so much, and now I know what I need to look for when I'm going to buy a project. That's our budget build episodes. And I loved it because I got to research a car that I know nothing about, and I got to essentially just make an entire build in my head.
Well,
build an entire car.
My side of it was boring because I was doing it how I would do it.
Brother, I went above and beyond.
Yeah, you did.
I went above and beyond. Now, we had to cheap out on a couple things. I mean, those tires probably aren't going to hold up to all 500 horsepower that K-Series is getting. But still, that was so fun to do. And I've gained a lot of knowledge on K-Series motors and like what cars they came in and stuff. And I can pinpoint if it's a K-Series motor in a vehicle or not just by like the valve cover and stuff. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So. Well, so when I think about all the episodes, I go back... And I just think I thought about everybody that we've had on, and we've had such amazing testimonies and stories, and guys with amazing cars, and that are just mind blowing. Some of the stuff that they've done, that's beyond what we do for the most part. Now you're getting into doing some of that stuff.
We're getting there. We'll eventually be on that level, but we're not right now.
But when I think about all of them, I always go back to Trevor Evans. And him talking about God getting a hold of him on the side of the interstate.
Yeah.
I just can't fathom what it would have been like to be standing there and like time has stopped. No cars coming by. No one in sight. In the middle of the day on the side of the interstate and God just convicting you.
Yeah.
And so every time I think about all of the different people we've had on, I go back to that one clip of him telling his testimony of how God got a hold of him that day.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing because, when you listen to everybody's stories, we all hear God in different ways, okay? You hear God through Scripture, some people... probably hear God audibly. I believe God can speak to people. I think that a lot of times God speaks to us through other people. But I have heard several people, and I have experienced this myself, who have came to a point in time where they felt like they were praying and they felt like time just stood still. So it's like you're in this moment and everything around you is just silenced. And you have no clue anything that's going on around you. You're so deep into the discussion that you and God are having, And when you hear other people having the same experience as you, it's reassuring, And so when I hear his, I think about a couple of times that I have had the same type of experience, not to that extent. Nowhere near that extent. But, and then I've had others say the same thing,
Yeah.
And it's just like you really realize that it's God, because other people are having the exact same experience. So how could it not be God? You know. So that's got to be my favorite part of any episode. But we have had some really good guests on, guys. We've had daggone it, just lost my train of thought.
Well, we've had Straight Six Fam as our first one.
That's who I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Grant Tommy.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah, that was...
We've had Grant Tommy. That was a good interview.
That was a good interview.
Because he does some cool stuff. Because he does offbeat cars. I mean, out of all the G bodies, I know a lot of people that say the Grand Prix are just ugly. I like the Grand Prix.
I like them.
But
I like them a lot.
then we had, of course, Trevor Evans.
Yeah.
We've had Jacob and Tim Davis, Sally's Speed Shop.
Yep.
That was a great interview. Them two guys, father and son duo are great together.
Yeah. It's so funny because they're like polar opposites, too.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they are.
I know. I know.
But they're fun to be around. Really fun to be around.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had Mark Frisbie. So Mark Frisbie is just a joker. But what a good story he had. He has been through it.
Definitely a funny guy.
Yes, he is. But pulled down to nothing. And I like how he described it. And that the bottom floor had the basement, and he was in the basement.
Yeah, he hit rock bottom, but rock bottom.
And then God was hitting him over the head with a shovel while he was in there.
Yeah.
So that his story was great. And then we got Eddie Papp, and Eddie Papp he had a story that really related to us, and again, ours didn't go nearly as far as his did, but we were able to relate with that story, and it really touched my heart, to have somebody else that's went through, some same circumstances, to an extent. And then, who else have we had?
Well, we had Papp.
Yeah.
And we had Angel.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
Yeah. But some good interviews.
Yeah, very good interviews. Yeah, I've enjoyed all the interviews that we've had. We've met a lot of really cool people, and they've introduced us to other people. And, it just kind of keeps building.
Yeah.
And we keep meeting more and more people. And it seems like everyone that we've encountered has helped us in some way, shape, or form with getting the word out for this podcast, or
sending us to somebody else.
Yeah, or helping us build our kind of YouTube channel so we can, because we're learning on what to do, and these people are helping us.
They're telling us tips.
How to build our social media presence.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, and one of the episodes that I got a lot of good feedback. It didn't get a ton of views, but I got a lot of feedback from the people that did watch it, and that was the Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that
enjoyed that.
That
was a good episode, and I'm kind of disappointed it didn't do as well as I thought it would. I thought it would do more. I thought people would really watch it. It was a good episode. Yeah. There was a lot of people saying things about some really good things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I enjoyed everything everybody had to say. I thought it was all good. I did too.
It was all good. And I liked having some of our viewers on there.
Yeah.
That made it fun.
Yeah, it was good.
We really appreciate them. I know those guys that were on there have basically been listening since day one.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. And if not day one, it was real close to that.
Yeah.
And they comment and they stay active with what's going on. Yeah. And I really appreciate those guys for coming on, and that's kind of why I selected them, because they had been, and asked them if they would do it, because they had been following us from the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we've got some other people that weren't actually in that episode that comment on every single post. And if it's not every post, it's like every couple.
Yes.
And it's amazing because, it's good to see people support us like that. I mean, can be very stressful. It can be a very stressful thing to do, especially when you have full-time jobs.
Well, not only that, when you're not real good people persons.
Yeah.
people.
People.
When you're not real good people persons, and you don't, always talk with people very well.
Yeah.
And then you sit down in front of this microphone that can be intimidating.
Yeah.
And you start talking.
It's very different.
And putting things out for the whole world to see.
Yeah, and sometimes some very vulnerable things too.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten pretty vulnerable on the podcast.
We have.
It's like, man, I don't even tell most people about this stuff.
But
we're just talking about it.
I keep going back to whenever I think about stuff like that. this is God's calling.
Mm-hmm.
This is God's calling.
Yep.
And there's so many people that have, came and said, you guys, you can tell that God is using this and that this was your all's calling because you all are doing things that you never thought that you would ever do.
Yeah.
And, one person in particular that I just feel like I want to throw out there who has been one of our greatest supporters from the very beginning, and she could care less about any of the car stuff we talk about, but she watches every episode and she supports us, she prays for us, and that is my mother-in-law. And that it's just to have her support like that, and she's she listens to every episode and she pulls things out of it and she'll comment on it, or she'll call me and tell me something about it, and
well, and you mentioned her, but someone I want to mention is actually her friend Lynn.
Yes.
Lynn comments on every single episode
Every
too,
single
and she
one.
does the exact same thing. She prays for us. She does the same thing. She pulls stuff out of the episode. Like, they actually pay attention,
Yeah.
even though they're not there for the car content, the Jesus content is
what's drawing them in.
Yeah, and that's what I
They like
about
hearing your guys' stories.
That's what I like about kind of what we're trying to do here is it doesn't matter if you're a car person or a Christian, you can get something out of this.
Yeah, and even if you're not a Christian at all, you might just be
Yeah.
here to listen to the car content.
Exactly. I mean, we've got plenty of episodes that are really just car based, and
Yeah.
we've got plenty of them with amazing stories about how Jesus saved their lives. So
Yes.
I mean, it's the best of both worlds.
It is, and to have both of them, we know that they're both prayer warriors.
Yeah.
We know that to be fact, and they are praying for us, and that just gives you a lot of peace
Yeah.
to know you've got people like them supporting you.
Yeah. And
So-
you see them in the comment section every time. I know when I click that comment section, they're
That
the
they're gonna
first
be
two
there.
ones I see every time.
Every time.
Every time.
And usually it's just an encouraging word.
It is.
Just to say that you guys are doing a great job, or I really enjoyed the interview, or give it some kind of scripture that goes along with
Yep.
what was talked about.
Yeah, and I will say this. I want to say this, like a little personal thing here for both Granny and Lynn. I really appreciate what y'all said in Angel's episode.
Yeah,
I really
it was
do.
very encouraging.
That touched me as well as
Yeah,
Angel.
yeah.
So
So, guys, go and look at some of the comments. We've had a couple
They're
of good
encouraging.
comments. Yeah, they are. We always have good. We don't have a lot of comments. Some of you guys need to comment more and tell us what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
But the comments that are there are usually really, really good. And I don't know that we've ever had a negative comment yet.
no,
So,
maybe we should get one. Maybe someone should be like, y'all suck.
yeah. Well,
Please
I'm
don't.
sure we will get one at
We
some
probably
point.
will one day.
So this year has been great, and I can't thank God enough for what He's done
Mm-hmm.
and helping us along the way. And I really want to thank Tim Davis and Mark Frisbie for really stepping up and trying to help us.
Yeah.
And then
Well, they were very early on, and
Yes.
then they've introduced us to
so many people.
They've introduced us to Eddie, who has helped us out a lot,
Yes.
and somebody else that I don't know if we're going to mention just yet. I'll let you be the one to mention if
Okay.
I don't mention that person's name in this episode. But
Who has also helped us out.
yeah, he's helped us a ton too. So we've got really 4 guys that have just done whatever they can to help us.
Try to
And
get the word out.
It's awesome.
Yep. So we thank God for everybody, for all your support. It has been an awesome year, and it has been just an amazing ride so far. And like Zach said, sometimes it's a little stressful trying to
Yeah.
get the content out, but we're learning, and the more we do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
And so as we continue on this road, we're moving into 2025, and we have a lot of big plans.
Huge plans.
Yes, for
I'm-
us, it's huge.
I'm very excited. Now, there's one thing I think we're both really, really excited for.
Yeah.
But there's something that we're adding in that I'm so happy for. I can't wait to start doing it.
So, speaking of Eddie, Papp,
Yeah.
which you all heard his interview a couple weeks ago. So in that interview, you probably heard him talk about being a youth pastor. He's been a youth pastor at a couple of different churches. So we have got a new episode that is going to air on a regular basis. It's going to be every other month on the last Tuesday of the month. And these episodes are going to be called Bible Talk with Pastor Papp. So Eddie's going to be joining us on a podcast, and we are super excited about that. And Eddie's really excited about it too. And he's going to come on board, and we are going to have Bible content. So it's going to be questions that you guys send us, or topics that you all want to hear us talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is going to be more of a kind of a strictly Bible-based podcast.
Yes.
It'll be just, you send in your questions, and, we'll all three kind of talk about it, and ultimately we'll have Eddie answer.
Yes. And now Eddie has got a lot more in-depth Bible background than either one of us do.
Yeah, or Bible knowledge.
No, Bible knowledge, yes. So he's coming on to help us out. And what we want you guys to do is send in your questions, send in topics you want to hear us talk about, that you want to hear our opinions on, or you want to hear what the Bible says about it, whatever that is. If you've got particular questions that you are struggling to understand the answers to, send those in, and we are going to do our best to dive into those and answer those questions. Now, the way you're going to get those to us is at our email address, which is jp5, the word spelled out, F-I-V-E, garage at gmail.com. jp5garage at gmail.com.
Yep.
So that's how you can get those to us. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think there's going to be a lot of learning. I think we're all going to learn from it, our listeners and us included.
Yep.
I think that it's something that Eddie is probably going to be, he's going to thrive in. I really do. So Eddie has been very helpful to us over the past couple months since we met Eddie, and spent a lot of time with Eddie at PRI and got to know him even more, and top-notch guy, and we are very excited to have him and very honored to have him on the podcast with us.
Yeah. And on a consistent basis now.
Yes, on a consistent basis.
It's going to be good.
So we're going to have, over the course of a year, we're going to have 6 episodes with him.
Yep.
So it's going to be awesome.
So that'll give you plenty of time to think of questions and send them in.
Yeah,
but now this first one, you don't have plenty of time.
No, you don't.
Send them in. As soon as you see this episode, if you have a question that pops into your head, send it in. Because we've got...
basically 3 weeks.
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks till we have to record that episode.
Yes.
So we need them sent
Start
ASAP.
sending them. Yep.
Now, after that, you got about a month in between. So you got a little bit, longer.
Time.
But,
Yep. So then we've got another set of podcasts that are going to air very similarly.
Man, you're
I am struggling with
today.
talking today. Hey, it's late in the evening, man. We've been working
Long
all day.
Working, yeah.
So we are going to have on the opposite month from Eddie's podcast.
So I don't know if we mentioned, but Eddie's is going to start in January. The last Tuesday of January, and then it'll be 2 months later. So last Tuesday of March, like that.
Yes.
And then this one will be the last Tuesday of February. And then skip a month
every other month. Okay, so these episodes are going to be with someone I don't think y'all have met yet. But he has a shop called Circle City Speed Shop. Check him out on Instagram. I don't think he does YouTube, but check him out.
He barely posts on Instagram.
Yeah. He's posting a little bit more lately.
He is posting a little bit more. After we talked to him and said, man, you need to post more.
Yeah.
He started
posting a little bit more.
bit.
But you can go check him out on Instagram, and we're going to have a series of episodes called Tech Talk. And Matt Barton with Circle City Speed Shop is going to join us. So he has a hot rod shop there that is a full-blown fabricating shop.
Man,
I mean, he's got everything.
Tell you what,
you can think of.
I got to see it in person, and I was like dreaming. It was great.
He likes old school tools.
He does.
Yeah,
he likes
he likes to do a lot of his fabricating.
A lot of his machinery is like old, old.
It's cool stuff.
It's awesome.
So
I would love to have a shop like that one day. That's so nice.
He's going to come on board and do Tech Talk. Okay, now he's an LS guy. So he does LS swaps. He does wiring for LSs.
He's done some Ford stuff, though.
He's done some Ford stuff, but he's more of an LS guy.
Yes, definitely.
So you might wonder why we chose Matt to come on here. He has built all kinds of race cars, okay? Circle track cars. He was a former Baja racer, and he helped build those trucks.
Yeah.
He started out, in racing and Baja racing, and has worked his way all the way up to now he's on an IndyCar pit crew.
Yeah.
So he knows his stuff.
Yeah,
and he runs his own custom shop.
He don't just tinker in the garage like we do.
No.
No, this is the real deal kind of thing.
Yes.
This is real.
He recently finished a C30, it was a C30. C30 dually with an LS, and
Nice truck.
is a nice truck. So, guys, he's going to be jumping on here to do some tech talk. So it's going to be the same thing. Message us, email us your questions, and or your topics. You might just want to.
You may not have a question. You might just want to hear our opinion on certain things.
Yeah, you might want to hear him discuss, wiring harness, LS wiring harnesses for LS swaps, or because that's something I know he does. You might want to hear him talk about engine mounts, or just
you could
whatever.
also, something that comes to mind for me personally, because I just asked a buddy of mine this question, because I'm not an LS guy, obviously. Is differences in certain blocks.
Yeah.
Like my question was, what's the difference between just a regular LS block and an LSX? Because I didn't know the difference. So things like that, great questions to ask, and we could sit and talk about them for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, things like that. Plenty of good stuff.
There's
to be
plenty
asked.
of stuff that can be talked about there. So those are going to be starting in February, every other month. So start sending those questions in too.
Yep.
And
got a little bit more time with that, but still don't wait. Try to get it in, because something to keep in mind is we usually try to record things at least a week before that episode will come out. Yeah. So don't send it to us the day before the episode comes out. Yes. It'll need to be at least a week or two in advance, because that's when we'll record.
If you do, it'll be the next one,
and then you'll be like, well, where's my question? Well, we couldn't get to it.
And again, if we get a bunch of questions, we are going to have to kind of filter through them.
Yeah, so your question
on Bible Talk and Tech Talk, we'll have to filter through them and, pick the ones that we think are going to be the most interesting, and, that we're going to get the most, talking from. So
make an episode out of.
Yeah, to be able to make an episode. So that's two things that we are extremely excited about that are going to be added in, and I think everybody's going to enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy. And I'm really excited about those.
I think they're going to be
We
fun.
came up with the idea several months ago, and we reached out to both guys, and they were on board. I mean, they were excited to be on board. So
I think it's going to be a good time. It'll be a good change in content. Yeah. It'll be something different.
Yep.
So I guess speaking of something different, I think one of my things that I'm really happy that we're adding with 2025.
Let's wait on that one.
Okay.
I got one more thing I want to add in before we talk about that big one.
All right.
Okay.
All right. That's fine.
So Zach and I are joining a organization here in our community called the Dream Center. And this is an organization that is going to be at our local community center that our church is kind of sponsoring and getting started. Mm-hmm. So the Dream Center is basically where kids from middle school to high school, all the way through senior, can come and learn different life skills. They can learn about different cultures. They're going to be able to learn about music. There's going to be music classes, art classes. So it's really a place for them to be able to come after school and to learn about things that they might not learn about ever, and they're definitely not learning about.
It gives people an opportunity to do something that they otherwise won't have the opportunity to do.
Yes, and so our part in this is they are going to have a mechanics class. So Zach and I are going to be teaching the automotive mechanics class. So we're pretty excited about this because there's no telling how many people, grown men, that I have ran into that don't know how to change a tire. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to change their windshield wiper blades. It's all like every time you go into O'Reilly's,
I will say,
some dude walks up to the counter with windshield wiper blades and says, "Hey, can you put these on for me?"
I will say, for some reason, windshield wiper blades can be harder than taking apart an engine sometimes.
Well, some of them can.
They just don't want to come off.
Some of them can, but seriously,
putting them on's easy. Taking them off is so difficult for some reason.
A lot of dudes don't even know where their spare tire's located in their car.
Yeah.
Okay? So stuff like that, stuff like changing your own oil. People don't do that anymore, but that's a good life skill to have. Yeah. That's something that you should know, to know how to do. I mean, it's simple to change spark plugs,
just stuff that can save
brakes.
can save you money because you can do it yourself in the same amount of time, if not quicker than the shop will do it.
Because
you're not getting the upcharge.
What if you're in a hard place in life, you've got you a job, but it's just not paying enough, and you need brakes on your car to be able to get to work?
You need an oil change, because oil changes are ridiculously priced these days. You can't go and get one for less than $100 anymore.
And that's stuff that I think that every young man and even young ladies need to know how to do. Young ladies need to know how to change their oil. They need to know how to put air in their tires. Simple stuff like that that they don't even, they've never been taught. And, there's a lot of dads who are either not in the picture or they just don't know themselves how to do some of this stuff, so they can't teach it. So this gives these young people an opportunity to come in the afternoon. We're going to be doing this one time a month, and they're going to be able to come in and they're going to learn how to do maintenance on a vehicle, basically. And we're even going to throw some lawnmower stuff in there too, because some of these young men and young ladies might want to be mowing some yards over the summer.
That's what I did. That was my first job.
Yeah, and so why not teach them how to tune up and change the oil in a lawnmower?
Yeah.
Get a lawnmower going. So we're excited about doing this and teaming up with our church and our community to get this thing going, this new program going for the young people. So that's it's one thing that we're going to be starting here in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
it's coming up.
It's coming up quick.
Yeah.
So now to what Zach wanted to talk about.
This is something I'm very excited about. Now, we've got something here at the end that I think we're both extremely excited about, more excited than this. But I'm personally very excited for this because I've thought of myself starting my own YouTube channel to post this type of content on. But, juggling the podcast and juggling my job and then trying to do another YouTube channel and then working on my car and, every other thing that life throws at you, it's just too much. So I decided we're not going to start my own YouTube channel, but we are going to both implement this into this channel.
Yes.
So this channel is not going to just be a podcast channel for 2025, and we don't really have specific dates that episodes like these are going to come out. No. It's kind of be sporadic because, as I said earlier, this kind of gets stressful at times. So sometimes it's going to be harder to add this in randomly. But hopefully, I think we could potentially hold ourselves to once a month, trying to get an episode like this.
Yeah, we should be able to do that.
We might be able to do a little bit more, but I'm not going to say that. We're just going to try to do once a month for now. But a vlog-style video, whether it's working on a car, going to a Cars and Coffee, hitting up a car show, things like that, just us in our daily lives with our vehicles.
Yeah.
So
showing y'all some cool stuff, stuff we think is cool.
So I think probably one of our first ones will be, maybe not the first one, but one of the early ones that we'll do is me working on my Mustang. We're going to throw the heads on the Mustang, put the cam in it, put the intake on it, get it running, and all that will be documented, take it out and driving, things like that.
And these aren't how-to videos.
No,
these
definitely
are just
not.
Videos about what's
all
going on
that's going to be
us.
time-lapsed because I don't need people watching me and being like, oh, you did that wrong, because I know I did that wrong.
Yeah.
You just got to let me do it. You got to let me do it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it's just going to be like time-lapse stuff. It's mainly just going to be, like, I know y'all have watched, like, like Puddin's Fab Shop or Vice Grip Garage or stuff like that. It won't be as in-depth as them, but it's going to be that same sort of thing. Like, hey, we're coming out to the garage today. We're going to tinker with this.
Yeah.
And then we're going to take it on a test drive when we get it done.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's, I think it's going to be fun because it's going to be kind of like a day in the life sort of thing.
Well, we've got a project getting ready to come up on the F100 that's going to start in the next probably few days.
Yep.
And then we've got your brother's Pinto that's going to be coming in to get some work done to it. That I think that people might find pretty cool.
I think that will be definitely a fun one to watch. Like I said, my Mustang will be getting done.
Your Mustang,
Yeah. So then, after things are done, even if we don't have stuff to work on, my car, I've mentioned it before, is going to be a race car. So we'll do some track days. I'll take it to the track. We'll document the track experience. I plan to go to a lot of racing events this year. So, we'll document all the racing events. If we go to some big car shows, kind of like we did with Shop Shop Gathering last year, we'll document all that. And it won't really be like a podcast episode, but it'll be like a 15 to 30 minute video where it's just kind of what we're doing. If you watch,
our car community here is big. There's cruise-ins and shows. I'm not a show kind of guy. I like the cruise-ins.
Yeah.
But they're all the time. I mean, every weekend, there's plenty to choose from. You just got to decide where you want to drive.
Oh, yeah. When the summer hits, it is there is one in every city surrounding
Yes.
where we live, including ours,
Yeah.
and all the surrounding cities.
Yep.
And on top of that, even if maybe there's one weekend where nothing like that's going on, maybe we'll cruise out somewhere real pretty and get pictures and
Yeah.
bring y'all along with
Yeah.
for the ride. So tons of stuff. I've just, like I said, if I could start my own YouTube channel, this is exactly the type of content I would be doing. It's kind of like a lifestyle kind of thing. Like if y'all watch Cletus McFarland, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
They build cars, they race them, they
Yeah.
talk about, and now he's got helicopter and plane content.
Yeah.
So be a little something different from
To
our
just
usual
to add to our
podcast
normal
episode.
podcast,
So
yeah.
this isn't just going to be the podcast channel anymore. This will be essentially Faith Family Cars, podcasts and videos.
Yes. Yep. So we hope you all like all that.
Yeah.
And hopefully that helps get the podcast rolling a little bit more too.
Yeah.
People see that in the content, maybe
not just us talking.
Yeah, and maybe they see some shorts on their TikTok of that
Yeah.
content, and they're like, okay, who is these guys? And then they start seeing the podcasts,
Yeah.
and then that's where they can get introduced to some of the other stuff that we talk about too.
I think we got some pretty cool cars, in our fleet here. So I think there is plenty
That's our
for
opinion.
Well, I'm just saying. What I was about to say is there's a little something for everybody.
There is a little something for everybody.
Because we've got lifted trucks, we've got lowered trucks, we're
Yeah.
going to have race car, we're going to have a Ford Pinto. Who the heck has a Ford Pinto?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. So
I mean, we've got some cool stuff.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think, even if you're
Definitely.
not a Ford fan, I definitely think there's something for everybody in that type of content.
yeah. Well, there's probably a couple guys out there watching right now that are saying, man, these guys, Lord help them.
Oh well.
With their Fords.
Oh well. Yeah, I know. Mark posted something a couple days ago on his story.
You got to just ignore that
I know.
guy.
I was gonna respond, and I was like, you know what?
You got to ignore that
I'm
guy.
gonna take the high road. You know what? I'm gonna take the high road. I'm gonna be a better person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a better person.
I hope you listen to this, Mark.
Oh, I know he will. I know he will.
We got one more major announcement for 2025. And we're excited to be doing this.
Yeah.
And we're excited that our local church has teamed up to help us with this. So we are going to be having a charity cruise-in, Faith Family Cars cruise-in, hosted by Field of Grace Baptist Church. And we are so pumped.
Oh yeah, this
this.
is so exciting.
Yes. So pastor approached me about having some type of car show or car event when he found out that we were doing this podcast. And we have finally set a date and are ready to move forward and get this thing rolling because we want to have a huge event. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't want this just to be, 50 cars showing up.
No,
we want a huge event.
We want a couple hundred.
Oh yeah.
A couple hundred would be
Or more.
Be good. Yeah.
So
If there's more, we've got a spot.
Yes.
We've got a spot. So all y'all come.
we're going to throw the date out there. And that's all we're going to be able to tell you right now.
Yep.
Because that's the only thing that's pretty much etched in stone.
Yeah.
So
We're still kind of figuring things out right
yes, but June 7th, the Saturday before Hot Rod Power Tour is the date, guys. And we did that so that all you guys that are headed to Indy to start Hot Rod Power Tour at Lucas Raceway, you're headed from the south, you're headed from the southeast, you're coming up I-65 straight through Louisville, Kentucky. You're going to be able to stop by and cruise in for a few hours before you head on up to Indy for the night so that you can pick up all your credentials on Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
So
we got you. There's no excuse. You have to be there.
You got to be here. So we know a lot of you guys will be traveling that day, and we know you'll be headed straight through here because you're going to spend the night in Indy and get your credentials on Sunday and then be ready for Power Tour on Monday.
I mean, how cool would it be to kick off Hot Rod Power Tour with a car show?
Yeah.
Or a cruise in.
A cruise in.
in.
It's like a pre-Power Tour cruise in.
Yeah.
To support local charities, which we will name in down the road a little
As
bit.
we figure things out,
Yeah.
we'll bring more information out.
So we got some in mind, and then not only that, at the cruise in, we will be doing a live podcast. Yeah. We will be doing a live podcast, and there's going to be a lot of people that you're probably going to know.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of people that you don't know that you're going to meet, and it's going to be a good time.
Yep.
It's going to be a real good time.
I got
And
a lot
so
of people
here's the
out.
other thing. Some of you guys might be saying, well, I'm not going to leave till Sunday because I'm going to drive up and I'll get there in enough time to pick up my credentials, stay at the hotel, and be ready for Monday morning. All right. Take an extra day. one more extra day and come and visit us. We want to see you guys. We want a big turnout for this to support the charities. And basically what we're doing, it's not going to be a car show. It's going to be a cruise in, but we're doing it to raise money for local charities.
There's no awards. No one's going to judge you for how good your car looks. We just want you
We want
out
the
there.
car community coming together, all as one, and to hook up together and basically help these charities out, have a good time together, and a good group of guys who love the Lord. And whatever car you got, whatever car you're driving on Power Tour, from junk to award-winning cars, we'll be there.
Whatever it is, we've got parking for everybody.
Yes. And we got a lot of local guys, a lot of guys in our church that have some just unbelievable vehicles.
Yeah.
And that'll be there. So
there's some pretty insane cars that people that go to our church. It's
so we're going to roll out more information as we start getting it, okay? As we start finalizing details.
But go ahead and put it on your calendar.
Yes, but get it on your calendar.
Because it's happening.
June the 7th.
It's happening. Just go ahead and put it on your calendar. We just don't have all the information.
Now, some of you guys might be saying, listening to me, how do you know that Power Tour is starting in Indy? How do you know it's starting on the 9th? Well, there was a post that came out a few weeks ago, if you are on the Hot Rod Power Tour Facebook page, that showed the schedule for Lucas Oil Dragway for 2025. They've already released their schedule. And on Monday, June the 9th, it said Hot Rod Power Tour.
And that just has to be the start, obviously.
Yeah. And where did we end last year? Indianapolis. Where does it usually always start? I said usually because sometimes it don't. Yeah. Where it left off. So that looks like that's what's happening. That's where we've set our date for. If it doesn't work out that way, then we might just talk to the church about moving our date to the Saturday before. So, guys, we're excited because at least for sure I'm going to be on Power Tour. We're not so sure about Zach. He might be at Power Tour at least the first day.
Yeah, I might be there. We just got to see how things go.
Yes, but I will definitely be on Power Tour, most likely doing a long haul. So what a way to kick off Power Tour. Having the Faith family cars cruise in and then heading to Indy to meet all of our friends to make that long haul.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. It's going to be fun times.
Yep. I think almost all of our cars should be there too, which would be fun.
Oh, yeah.
I got a lot of buddies that I'm going to try to get out there. I've got a lot of family members that have got some really cool stuff that's going to be there.
I know my brother most likely will have his Corvette there.
Yeah.
He's been working on.
I know your other brother, my uncle, has got a nice truck that
he'll have it out there. Probably his Jeep too.
Yeah. Plenty of cool stuff. Very big variety, just off the top of my head, of people I know personally.
Yeah.
So,
it's a wide range of vehicles of just friends that we have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're talking.
Well, this podcast has introduced us to a lot of people, so we know a lot of interesting stuff now. We got a lot of interesting cars that we know of now.
So mark that date and make plans to be here, and we will release more information as we finalize details.
Yeah, and follow us on Instagram, especially because I'm pretty sure that's where we're going to get the majority of it. And we'll roll it out in the episodes, but it's going to come out. If it comes out before an episode comes out, then it'll be on the Instagram first.
It'll be on Instagram.
So, sometimes we have an interview, and the episode that we can update you won't be for like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So get on the Instagram, because it will be updated as we get things going.
So guys, this year 2025 is going to be awesome.
I'm excited.
We're excited. We got a lot going on, and on top of all that, all the events that we're planning on going to also, that we're not going to throw out there until it gets closer to those events.
Yep.
But all those events too, it's going to be an awesome year. And we're excited to see what God's going to do this year also, because I believe big things are going to happen.
Yeah.
We have some personal goals that we'd like to see set with this podcast that we don't want to make mention of, but they're personal goals that we'd like to see happen, and we've been praying that they will happen. And it's all about building the kingdom of God in the car industry, guys.
Yeah.
So we just want you guys to know that we love you and we appreciate you, and all of you all for just listening or watching us on YouTube. because it has meant a whole lot this year.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, we say this just about every episode, but this is not our type of thing at all. And just to have this amount of support behind us, and
we keep watching it grow.
I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't just sit and listen to myself talk. You know, I go back and watch our podcasts, but being a viewer, I don't know.
It'll probably get to a point where you don't do that no more. But.
Yeah, well, it's amazing to have all these people support us.
Yeah.
It just, people just want to sit here and listen to us talk, I guess.
Well, we're just normal dudes trying to do the will of God.
Yep.
And doing it by using the car community, something we love.
Yeah.
So, Zach, where can they find us at?
Find us you can find the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon. I think that's it.
At Faith Family Cars
Faith
Podcast.
Family Cars Podcast. And then you can also find us on, we have stuff go out almost daily.
Yeah.
On Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And you can find it, just type in Faith Family Cars. We used to have to tell you to type in underscores and all that stuff, but you just search it up now. It pops up now.
Yes.
So,
yeah. So, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe.
Please.
If you
I think there's like 33% of y'all that aren't subscribed.
Yeah.
So,
and if you are listening to us on any of the others, please follow on there.
Yeah, go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube too if you're watching on other platforms.
Yeah, just pull it up on YouTube and subscribe.
Even if you don't watch it on YouTube, just subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter, on TikTok.
Yep.
So the more people that start following, the more it gets shared.
Yeah.
And the more things you see that you want to share. And because when you follow us, it's going to pop up in your feed.
Yeah.
So.
Well, 2025 is going to be a year of content for us for sure.
Yeah.
So, keep an eye out on our TikTok. I'm sure we're going to get more stuff out on TikTok. Episode clips, which we've already kind of started a little bit.
Yep.
Got some episode clips out.
But Zach's really going to be hitting that hard. So.
Yeah. And it's just going to be, whether it's podcast episode or maybe just a video of us tinkering in the garage. We're going to get some stuff out there. Keep it going on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Get all that stuff. Just plenty of content flowing. So you got something to watch no matter what day it is.
Yep. So if you enjoy us, for whatever reason that is, if you like what you're getting here, there's a lot more to come. So guys, Happy New Year. It's 2025 tomorrow, and we love you all. We appreciate you, and we will.